you know, she's not walking like they do. Look at the girl now again, how she jumps. Jumping in a way which is not kind of like natural that a girl like her should do. Okay, look now. She's like, wow. Yep. Now look how she climbs everywhere. And of course, here you see, if you look closely before, like how she's very happy with the big brother, and he really likes her. You look like she's like. You look at little brother. He's kind of like, come on, what are you doing? She's like, come on, come on. And the little brother is really feeling that something is strange. So we have the boss scene here, where you actually have to fight the girl. It's kind of creepy boss actually. You almost feel sorry for the spider. You have to grab out all the legs. But you see that this boss, like, every time she comes, you have to like put the leg so it's like pointed to in the middle. Because like, look how, if you turn like here, look the leg now. It's the one from inside, so you can grab. Because if it's like too close to the corner, they will cut into the. Yeah, it would be very complicated. Let me see here. Boom. You see, she turns around and she points her leg insidewards. Okay, now she's very like. Again here, boom, on the inside. And then we have a cutscene that triggers soon. Again in the inside, and now we do this. And then of course she stabs the brother. This is actually what kills the brother. You see his color in his face and everything changes. And the idea here is that the father can actually sense that something is going on, is trying to help them, but obviously he's very sick and cannot do it, so. But he feels there's something going on. The connection between families. Okay, now we're very close to the finding the actual cure for the father. And here's like one of the hardest moments in the game actually. So now little brother comes to the, you know, to the cure where he can find the cure for his father, but he's also like you know, the big brother is downstairs, like down waiting, and he's very, very bad. And this scene was of course very, very hard to make. I mean, just to record it with the sound and everything, the actors is really crying for real here, because to get the authenticity of the scene. But it was important to make, because this is like one of the most important scenes of brothers. This actual like ground design of brothers, to controlling like two brothers with one stick, and then you literally like lose your left hand and left stick, to feel that there's a loss, a physical loss for the player who's controlling the brothers. So this is a very hard part, which actually was very tough to record. And for me it's even more personal, because when I used to live in Lebanon, I moved to Sweden when I was 10 years old. And my mother, you know, I really wanted a little brother, and my mother has had like a lot of miscarriages all the time, like almost 4 or 5 times. And I think on the 4th time, you know, when she had miscarriage again, she actually asked me to bury my little brother myself. So me and my sister went out to bury my little brother. So that was very hard for me. But I mean, this scene is kind of like inspired from my own life, you could say. So it was very hard, especially to play this scene now when it's done, because it's been a while. It's much harder. But I'm really, really proud of like the scene and how it's working. I love these fantasies also in my movies, especially one called Zozo, which is like inspired from my own life. You have a lot of fantasy going on. Like this, like he fantasized that Big Brother is back to life. Actually, I think many players have played here like thought, oh my god, it can't be true that big brother will die, but that was the point of the whole game. And you will understand also another design decision that's coming later, which I think is actually what makes Brothers what it is today, actually, which I'm so proud of. This is like, I remember the first night I came up with, I was in a hotel room when I came up with Brothers, the concept of Brothers. This scene was like one of the first scenes, that came up in my mind, like, that you actually have to bury your own brother. But of course it was a lot of challenge to make it happen and make it, visually clear what to do and how to control, and obviously understand now why we can't have any HUDs and all these kind of weird stuff on the screen right now. That's also one of the reasons why we want the experience to be as clean as possible, not to get away from the illusion that you're actually, in this world. It's so clean that you don't see anything, and it's not so often you have games where it's like super clean in the whole screen. Actually, if you stop and you push the button, it will start and cry, and the controller will shake, but you can release and hold on to the... This scene, of course, was like very important that we didn't have any bugs or crashes and stuff like that, so because it's like the most important scene of the whole game. So you literally have to drag down your brother, and you can see that we have 4 piles in the background, and we help the player as much as we can here, make them understand that you have to go and push in that pile. So we pretty much take the controller over from the player from right about now, and so we place the player behind one of the piles, so we don't get any, we really don't want to end up. This was very important to keep it flow and keep it flowing, so the players didn't really say like, oh, what am I supposed to do here? So and I think we really succeeded, because I've seen some people play this and they're really like emotionally, it's emotionally very heavy, so they quite understand. And I love the pacing, that it goes so slowly here. I think it works really well. And now you really feel that you're not using your left hand again. And I'm so proud of. It's so cool that you're really feeling that you're missing one hand, really. Now you have the bird coming back. I'm gonna leave it up to interpretations here. I know exactly why he's back and what's going on, but it's more fun for you out there to figure it out. In a way, I think it's quite obvious, but I mean... So now we are in the last bit of the game. It's funny also, I'm talking all the time about the little brother and how playful he is, and how he later becomes more and more like serious in the game. And while I'm playing this right now, I mean, I've already talked that I've experienced burying my own little brother and stuff, and it's funny, it's like I'm kind of realizing that this is very much my story and I am the little brother. Because I kind of started kind of playful in the beginning of the game, and now I feel like quite emotionally, heavy. I have a like big thing on my chest, if you know what I mean. But anyway, to get back to the design, this is actually the biggest design issue. I could literally not sleep when I came up with this. I even remember that time. Now you remember that little brother could not swim, of course. This is very important. He could not swim. He don't have the courage, and he always like felt that it's his fault that his mother drowned. And his mother comes up, and she tells him like, "Come on, you can do it. You can do this. Continue." And here's the thing: because you're only using the right stick to control, and you only have the right trigger of the little brother, coming up that you have to push the left trigger, it's actually the dead brother's button to get the strength to continue on your own, was for me like wow. Because for me it was like making character growth in an interactive way, and making it like by pushing a button. And that's, I think, was the moment that was the real wow moment. I remember when I came up with this, I couldn't sleep. I was like up all night, and I came in the day after to the team. I was like, okay guys, you were gonna go nuts. And when I tell them that, you know, they were like wow. And this is for everyone. I think this moment is the big moment. So when I push the right trigger, he just cries he can't. But when I push left trigger, you see the camera goes down a little bit, kind of to show that something is happening. It gets more strange. You hear the big brother's voice in the background, and the controls start to shake. So you literally have to push the big brother's button to get the strength. Once you do that, you can swim on your own. Otherwise, you can't. So you look like you're literally feeling the strength of like Big Brother inside you. And I'm so proud of this moment. It's crazy. So we are like in the ending scene. This was actually supposed just to be a cutscene, but we changed it so you actually can make the last walk up to your father, which I think was very good to like give the player kind of like a, because there's so much emotions here. Hopefully if you have played everything through, they will feel it. So you give the player the last part where you control the little brother. And I will also show you the very important thing. Like remember, like in the beginning of the game when we interacted with that flower and he like kicked it down, and look now how he reacts to the same thing. So he's like, it's really the story about the little brother, how he grows into another person. So I'm gonna go up to the same flower actually and see how his reaction is. Let's go up to the, here's actually when we started the game, we put the father in the wagon, and here you have that. So if I interact now, he will react more mature and smell it like the big brother did. And once I come here, it's actually exactly where the games started and where the game menu is. And you can see here also that, you know, that it's almost like the father who's breaking up and the little brothers who's come out as the stronger character here. So this is the end of the game. I hope you enjoyed me talking about this, and I hope you enjoyed the game, and I'm looking forward to create a new game with the whole team of brothers at the new studio called Hazelight. Have a great one, everybody. Thank you.